Hello everybody, I hope you guys are all enjoying your day. Today we're going to be looking at your weekly forecast spanning from the 12th of January all the way until next Sunday, which would be the 19th of January. Make sure that you are subscribed and turned on notifications so that you do not miss when we upload. This is going to be my 15th day in a row where I do have a video uploaded. So we do these videos pretty much daily right now, and I hope to continue that and continue to create these videos daily. And I go over big storms that are happening, major pattern changes that are happening, all of that. So that's all the information that you're gonna get on when you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. So please consider doing that if you do enjoy the type of content that I do make. So this forecast is going to include my temperature anomaly forecast and my precipitation anomaly forecast, and both of those are going to help you plan out your week. As well, at the end of the video, I will be doing my special event segment where you will be able to see what big storms or what big pattern changes are going to be occurring during this week. So let's get right into it here with your temperature anomaly forecast. Again, this is spanning from the 12th through the 19th, and we're starting off with your slightly above average layer. So in this layer, it won't be too noticeable. Maybe a couple days even below average in this layer, but overall, this week on paper should be slightly above average, but not by a large margin here. Here is your moderately above average layer, and this is going to be really for the really from parts near New Mexico and into Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska eastward. You're basically going to be seeing your moderately above average conditions, and these are going to be pretty noticeable in this area. That you will have a couple days 10, 20 degrees above average, but you might even sprinkle in there here and there a couple of below average days this week. But once you get into this red shade, this well above average layer here, and that's for much anywhere from the Gulf states, the deep south, and into parts of the Ozarks and the Tennessee and Ohio Valley, and into the Great Lakes and Northeast. You're going to be seeing well above average conditions a couple days this week, especially right around today, which would be when I'm recording this. This is Sunday the 12th, and into tomorrow, Monday, and even into Tuesday for some areas. You're seeing temperatures 30 to 40 degrees above average in this area. So very warm conditions over these areas, and that's going to really persist throughout most of the week, and that's why you are under a well above average layer. Here is your slightly below average layer, and this is where it's actually going to be cooler than average, and that's spanning from California, Nevada, Utah, and parts of Colorado northward, and into parts of the Northwest and parts of even into the northern plains. Now, here is your moderately below average area, and just like the moderately above average layer, you are going to see a couple days where it could be slightly above average, and especially if you do live in this area, it could be above average quite a bit during this week. But when you do get those colder shots, it will be pretty cold, especially as you get closer to the coast around this area. You're gonna have persistent cold, but it's not gonna be too big of a cold shot. And once you get into this area, it's gonna be very cold air. That'll be for a couple of days, and then it'll retreat out, but it'll be able to put your temperature forecast on paper above average, or below average, I mean. Now, here is your third shade of below average, your well below average area, and this is spanning from North Dakota, almost all of Montana, into Wyoming, almost all of Idaho, and into eastern Oregon and Washington State, where you are going to be seeing well below average conditions. You are going to see this Arctic air mass coming down from Western Canada, and that's going to sit itself right over those areas for a good 3 to 4 days, and that's where you could be seeing temperatures 30 to 40 degrees below average, bringing your wind chills down to around negative 40 to negative 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So very, very cold conditions that we are experiencing over these areas. So that is going to do it with this temperature forecast. Now we're going to get into your precipitation forecast, which is going to show you where it's going to be wetter than normal and also drier than normal. So here's your precipitation forecast. You're going to be seeing slightly above average conditions. We'll start off from the western United States over California, a little sliver of Nevada there, and into most of Oregon and Idaho, and into northern Utah, western Wyoming, and into western Montana, as well as all of Washington. You're going to be seeing some slightly above average conditions. That's going to be where you could have multiple attacks of moisture coming in from the Pacific, and that'll allow few inches to accumulate, whether that is in the form of rain or snow. And actually, you could have a major snowstorm over the Northwest this week, which could impact big cities like Seattle and Portland. Could actually be picking up closer to 5 to 8 inches of snow. So that will definitely most likely be something that we will talk about on this channel. So again, that would be another reason to subscribe, because I do these daily. Now, here is your moderately above average layer, and this is going to be also for parts of the eastern United States, and the eastern United States, you did see that slightly above average layer. Here's your moderately above average layer added on there, and this is going to be really from the Mississippi River eastward. You're going to be seeing your slightly above or your moderately above average conditions. As far as precipitation, you're going to be seeing multiple storms come through this area, and especially Winter Storm Isaiah. That's going to really help enhance these totals. So much of the eastern United States could be impacted with some pretty wet conditions, as well as parts of the western United States where you could be dealing with some major rain and snow, and that's from coastal Oregon and California into Idaho and into most of all of Washington and into western Montana. You could all be seeing some moderately above average precipitation conditions for this week. Now, here is your third layer, and we have multiple areas of well above average, and this can be one for the western coast, also for parts of the Tennessee Valley and into parts of the deep south and into the Carolinas and Virginia as well. You're going to be seeing your well above average conditions as far as precipitation, and also we have another one for New England and upstate New York, where you're going to be seeing a lot of precipitation, and a lot of this precipitation is going to be in the form of snowfall, but that if you melted it down, it would be right around 3 to 5 inches of actual precipitation. So you're seeing closer to 30 to 40 inches over some parts of the northern New England, and especially closer to the Canadian border, in those higher mountain tops. You could be seeing closer to 30 to 40 inches of snowfall. So a lot of snowfall there. We also have a lot of rainfall in the southern United States, and also a lot of rainfall for the western United States. Right before it hits those mountains, it's going to have a lot of moisture, and it's going to be allowed to just dump all that moisture over the same area, where you're going to have multiple attacks of this precipitation coming onto shore, and that is going to allow for some pretty wet and wild conditions over the western United States. Now, we are going to add your below average conditions here, and this is going to be for much of the central and really the Four Corners area. That's where you could be seeing slightly below average conditions, close to no precipitation, maybe half an inch of precipitation in the form of rainfall for most of these areas. A bit of snowfall as you get into the Dakotas and Minnesota, but not too much snowfall by any means. Now, here is your moderately below average conditions, and this is for parts of Arizona and into New Mexico, as well for parts of Colorado, Nebraska, South Dakota, and into Wyoming. We could be seeing close to no precipitation this week, so that is going to be some very dry conditions over these areas. Now, we are going to get into your special events segment of the video. At the bottom of your screen, that is where your timestamp is going to be. So this is when this is taking place. So whenever you want to know when the storm or pattern change is coming, just look at the bottom of your screen. I do put the timestamps for all of these at the bottom of the screen. Here is Winter Storm Isaiah. I did make a surface map for this one. Of course, the greens indicating your rain, though the pinks and almost the light pinks also you're showing your mixed precipitation, so that's a lot of ice, especially for this storm, and also some wintry mix in and around there, and some transition from rain and snow. And also we have in this blue, of course, that's going to be your snowfall for northern New England and into the Great Lakes. And I made this map earlier this morning, so that was when I took this for. But this should cover most of the storm, and this storm is going to end by tomorrow. Really, tonight is going to be the last day where you're going to be seeing some snowfall or any really impacts from the system. And you see we have a lot of snowfall actually happening over parts of the Great Lakes and into parts of northern New England, northernmost New England. Really, it's only northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire, and into northern Maine where you're seeing that snowfall. And this could accumulate to about 2 feet of snowfall in some of these areas, and especially into the Great Lake, the eastern Great Lakes and into parts of northern New England. Now, here is your next special event, and this is going to be some stormy conditions happening from the 12th through the 17th over parts of the western United States, and that includes also parts of Idaho and Montana, and even into Nevada, a little bit of Nevada also seeing some stormy conditions. You're going to be seeing persistent rain and snow over these areas, and that could be in the form of rain or snow, depending on your elevation, of course, and that will be leading to these stormy conditions. And this is happening from the 12th through the 17th, where you're going to be seeing these stormy conditions, and you have been seeing these for a couple of days before this, before I'm recording this, also. So this has been happening since about the 10th or 11th of January, where you've been seeing these stormy conditions, and that's going to continue even into this upcoming week. Now, here is your third special event, and this is going to be an Arctic blast that's going to impact parts of the northern plains, including North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, and Montana, all going to be impacted with an Arctic blast, and this could bring this is the one that could bring your wind chills down to -40 or -50 degrees in some of these isolated locations. So very cold air that's being dumped further south from Canada, and that is going to be pretty impactful over these areas. So we're going to get into your fourth special event, and this is going to be your next big storm. Now, you see we have rain to the south of really the low pressure here. And your low pressure would be tracking somewhat. You would have moisture feeding in from here. Low pressure would develop somewhere right around Kansas, in Colorado, and that would kind of track somewhere like this, and that would allow for some snowfall on the northern side. Now, the big thing that we're still trying to figure out here, and again, this is still about 5 days out, 4 or 5 days out, and this is happening from the 17th through the 19th. So until the end of this forecasting period for this week, this is when this system is going to be happening. So I will definitely have a video out on this one, talking in more depth, but this pink area is this highlighted pink area right here. This is the area that is going to have the biggest threat for rain snow transition. So this is where we have the least certainty on the system. To the south of this, we're almost certain by this point that you're going to be seeing it. You're going to be seeing just rain for the most part. I wouldn't not include these areas. These areas do have a chance, but a very slim chance at that. But really, the big threats for the Northeast and Great Lakes states, where you could see some transition to snow, where that could dump a quick 6 inches of snowfall to some areas, and even into New England and northern New England, you could see closer to 2 feet of snowfall from some of these models. That's what they're kind of forecasting. But I'm not going to forecast this until we get closer to this event and I have more certainty. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on this. Now that is going to wrap up the video, guys. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications so you never miss a video when I upload. Anyways, guys, I was Eli, the weather guy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.